Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dr. Victoria, and you are joining me for the Confident Parent Moment. I'm really excited to be here with you now. And this week, I really wanted to dedicate the Confident Parent Moment to talking about how do we connect with kids about really difficult topics. Recently somebody reached out to me and asked a question. She said, I have two boys and somebody in our community died by suicide. And the little boy was a friend to my children. And now the community is grieving as we are in the family. And we have the opportunity to go to the funeral. And I'm not sure if I should let my children go. And if they go, it's going to be open casket. So I don't know how I'm going to navigate that with them. So this mom was having a really hard time making a decision about how she's going to support her two children and how she's going to even talk to them about this. So I want to share that this is one of many different difficult topics and challenging topics that our kids are going to bring up to us. There are so many times where we are confronted with death, with loss. We are talking to kids about safety, or we're even wanting to have conversations that are serious in nature with our kids. And you're thinking, how do I do this? So I want to discuss and give you some tips about why it's so important to actually first do it, right? And secondly, I want to give you some tips and how you can have effective conversations with your children in a way where it's going to be a culture in your family to actually have these conversations rather than only having them when something happens. So first and foremost, we as adults, I can't believe how often we do this, but we tend to not talk about things a lot of the time. Sometimes we think, if we let it go or we don't talk about it and our kids are not bringing it up, then they're not thinking about it and we shouldn't bring it up either. The truth of the matter is oftentimes kids misunderstand our silence for other things. And they misunderstand it thinking it's not that important, thinking it's not a good thing to talk about, thinking, oh my gosh, mom, dad, grandma and grandpa, they don't want to talk about this, so I'm not going to bring it up. They misunderstand our silence when we don't talk about difficult topics like the news or things come up, and they make up stories in their head about why we're not talking about it. So that's the first thing to think about when you are thinking, should I talk to my child about this or not? Number two, kids sometimes overestimate or underestimate the importance of something. And they really need our modeling because they are looking to us to see, is this important? Is this not important? What's going on here? So we really are the leaders, right? We're leading with love, and we really are the leaders in a lot of these conversations with children. So the first thing to remember is it's super important to talk about things with children that come up. Okay, things that are in the news, things that happen in the community, things that they're bringing to you from school, and to really support them in navigating these topics well, okay? Now, I want to get into a little bit of what you can do to actually create a culture in your family that supports talking about difficult topics in an open way. So first and foremost, and this is one of my favorite things to remember, is this. When you're having difficult conversations with children, it becomes harder to have them when all you do is have a serious, difficult tone to the conversations you have with your kids. So for example, if your relationship with your children is based on only teachable moments and only talking to them about challenging times and what they should have done differently and what they can do and how they need to do well in school and all the things that they didn't do that they have to do in order to, that their chores and whatever in order to gain, whatever privileges they have. All of these things are very important and good, but it's also really important to have moments and conversations with your child that are playful, that are based on really enjoying your time together with them, that are based on really enjoying the ability for them to just be with you and for you to just be with them. Those are things like play. spending time with them and just doing nothing, right? There's an art to doing nothing and just enjoying their company. And this is why this is so important. When you vary your energy with your child, right, you provide them with an opportunity to experience you as a complex human, right? And them as a complex human, and the relationship as super deep and complex in itself, where they can have moments of joy and pleasure with you. And they also can have moments where they are really looking at you as a model, and they are taking after what you're telling them, and they are, learning from you as you being their mentor or teacher, right? Or their guide in life. So children really do need to have a relationship with parents that's based on a variety of energies: playful energy, serious energy, loving energy, funny energy. So it's important to really establish a relationship that has all of this variety. And when you actually do have to have a conversation that is of a serious nature, your child will understand that, okay, now it's time to connect on something that is a little bit more serious. Now it's time to sort of, ground into my, serious energy, so to speak, and not be funny or playful in this moment. This moment is for something a little bit more serious, a little bit more challenging, but we're going to get through this together. And my parent is going to be able to guide me. So just remember that your relationship with your kids is complex, and you want to have a variety of ways that you can connect with them. This will really set you up powerfully for those moments that are harder. Secondly, when you're having a tough conversation with your child about something, let's take the example of death, right? And, this example of the mom that shared with me that now, what do I do? We have to go to this funeral, or we don't have to. I don't want to send them. I don't know what to do. So first of all, think about what it is that you want to say to your child. And lots of parents are telling me, I should already know what I want to say. And the truth is, no, you're a human being. You're in this situation maybe for the first time, or you're, having this conversation that's really difficult for you too, because you're a human being and you've got feelings and you're nervous about how this is going to impact your kids, and you want to do a good job. So you want to think about what it is you actually want to say. You don't have to go into the conversation with your child cold. You can talk to your partner, or even look at yourself in the mirror and practice what you're going to say, or you can even write it down. I really like the idea of writing things down and putting your thoughts down on paper and giving yourself the opportunity to really, be thoughtful and intentional about what you want to share with your child. And it doesn't mean that you're going to come to the conversation with a PowerPoint presentation or a list, but it gives you an opportunity to actually think thoughtfully about what it is this conversation with your child is going to look like and what your intention for it is. Okay. The other tip that I have is ask your child, what do you know about this? Right. So if, for example, we're talking about this mom and talking about death and suicide and, whether or not, making this decision of whether or not they should go to the funeral, what do you know about what happened, right? Ask your child, what do they think about it? How did they feel about it? And at this moment, when you ask this question, you want to just listen. And you're not listening passively, you're listening actively. You want to be an active participant in the conversation, even when you're saying nothing, right? And how do you do that? You do that by actively listening, really looking at what your child is saying and making note of it in your mind and referring to it and really having them feel gotten by you. Okay, so you want to know, what does your child already know about this? Next, my tip is, it's okay to share with your child how you're feeling. Lots of parents are, do I share with them that I'm feeling a little bit nervous? Yes, right? So what I shared with this mom that came to me, I said, look, share with your children the nervousness that you're feeling about whether or not they should go to this funeral and this community memorial, right? Share with them why you're nervous, right? And the other tip that I have, do it in age-appropriate language, right? Like, make sure that you know who you're talking to. I always say, who's your audience? So if you have younger children, you want to make sure that you're talking to them, right? If you have children that are a little bit older or teenagers, you want to make sure that your language is appropriate to them, right? But you can share with them, mom's a little nervous because there's going to be a lot of people there. This is the first time that, you're going to something like this, and it's a very emotional time. And I guess I'm not sure what you want to do. And I'm scared of whether or not I'm going to make the wrong decision, letting you go, right? Or taking you with me, or whatever it is you want to say. And then letting them know, I'm just a little bit nervous. I want to make sure that your experience is not overwhelming for you, right? So let your child know what your feelings are, because it models for them that you're a human, you've got feelings, and it's totally okay to have them and express them and then work through them, right? And you don't always have to be certain about what to do. This is very, very important, because children are always watching and modeling you around that. Okay. And you want to tell kids the truth. Okay. This is another tip I have. Tell kids the truth about what's going on, right? And in this situation, the truth is something like, this is going to be an open casket, and, it's a very, it's a very difficult and different kind of experience than anything that, you've had before. And this is what that goes like, right? And then you can provide choice to your children, right? So I, recommend to this mom, let your kids know, you have a choice. We can go to the funeral, right? We can go to the church, because that's where the procession, before the actual burial was taking place. And, and if you want, we can go to the burial site. You can go up to the casket if that's what you choose. We should talk about that. But if you choose not to, we can stand in the back and we can still be there, right? And there's so many different ways that you can actually, really share your condolences and your sympathies with the family and commemorate your friend. Or if you don't want to go to the funeral, right, you can also, there's so many things we can do afterwards, because families that are grieving, right, often have a lot of support on the front end, but not always on the back end when everything is said and done, right? And sharing with your child the truth of the matter. And it's okay to let your child know that you don't know. So if your child asks you, like, why did he do it? Why did that happen? Why did this event occur? Why? Right? And you don't have an answer. Lots of parents ask me, what do I do? What do I say if I don't have an answer? The answer is, you can say, I'm not sure. I don't know, right? Like, I have hypotheses in my mind. I'm thinking of all these reasons to try to make sense of it. But the truth is that I don't know. And sometimes we don't know why people do what they do, right? And why things happen the way that they do. So letting your child know that gives them some validation that they also are feeling that way, and it's okay to feel that way. And you're also being with them in that, and showing them and modeling to them that it's okay. We don't have to know in order to also be okay. That dialectic can exist. You don't always have to know and be certain about something in order to be okay and be able to move forward. And then lastly, the thing that I want to share is kids want to be reassured. Reassure your child, no matter what, that you are there for them, that you will be there to support them, and that you are there to keep them safe, and you're there to talk with them. Right? And that really provides kids with an opportunity to come to you when things happen, to ask you questions about difficult things that occur or things that they're thinking about. And it creates this opportunity for them to come to you like an open line of communication, no matter what. Okay. I hope that this was helpful. This was a really important confident parent moment this week, because there's so many people dealing with lots of things that are difficult. And oftentimes, whether it's the death of a goldfish, right, the death of a pet, or the death of someone in our life, or we're seeing something on the news, or, something is happening that we're not sure what to make of it, it's important that kids have this comfort of being able to come to the most important external resources in their life, which is you, to be able to discuss these things. And I hope this was supportive in really helping you figure out, how do I even do this? How do I even start? And then I just want to say, make sure that you are taking care of you, because these are not easy things. These are not simple conversations to have with your kids. And so make sure that you're taking care of your own health, that you're talking to someone, whether it's a friend or a family member or a therapist or a professional, and make sure that you're getting physical activity and you're getting outside and you're doing things to really take care of you while you're taking care of everyone else. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will see you on the next episode of the Confident Parent Moment. And if you are just landing on this and you're not subscribed, please make sure to subscribe so that you receive weekly alerts of the new episodes. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone. Bye-bye.